going to show you how to make one of the domino tiles from the free Dominoes game set from Kreative Kiwi. For this I'm going to be using a 4x4 hoop, 2 layers of recycled washaway stabiliser, a selection of threads, one with a matching bobbin, a glue stick, some masking tape, my squizzers, some pins and my fabric and batting, and these are all scraps, and I've also got a scrap of cutaway stabiliser that I'm going to use on the back underneath my fabric just to stiffen the tile a little bit. You will find a link to this design in the video description below, along with lots of other information such as where I get my supplies and also some discount codes as well for you. So I just dug a piece of scrap washaway stabiliser out of my scrap bin, and I cut a patch to fit the hole where I previously stitched one of these, and then I'm just going to cut that in two, and then you use a Pritt stick, a glue stick, anything like that, to stick one on the front and one on the back, and then just dry it with a hairdryer so it's thoroughly dry. You don't want a wet glue because you will melt your, or should I say, you will dissolve your stabiliser. So when it's all dry, you just treat it as you would normally, hoop it, and as we always do, pin around the top edge of your inner hoop, take a pin, rest it on top of the hoop, push it through the stabiliser and then bring it back round and through to anchor it so that it doesn't pull down through the hoop. So now we're ready to stitch. I'm doing the 2-2 tile, so 2 top, 2 bottom, and the good thing about this design is that if you've got children with learning difficulties or visual impairment, you can make the the tile spots any colour that you want, and different top and bottom too, so should you so choose. So it's entirely up to you. Today I'm going to do red at the top and blue at the bottom, just so you can see. So let's get on with it. Load your chosen file into your machine, and then you're going to stitch round number 1, and that's going to give you your placement outline for your batting. I'm using a grey thread for the first 2 rounds just so that you can see what I'm doing, and then I will swap it out for the white to match my fabric when we come to round number 3. So with round number 1 stitched, you're going to place your batting over the top and then tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 2 to secure it. Trim away your excess batting from around the edge of the stitch line. Place your front fabric over the top of the batting and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine, and then you're going to stitch round number 3, which is going to secure the fabric and then quilt over the top. So make sure you've got the thread colour that you want for that loaded into your machine. And that's the quilting done. I'll just give you a look here. Can you see that? I hope you can. Okay, load your thread colour for the top spots into your machine, and then you're going to stitch round number 4, and I'm going to go with red for this. I've swapped out my red thread for blue, and we're now going to stitch round number 5, and that's going to do the bottom spots here. So that's our pips stitched. We're now going to add the backing fabric, so turn your hoop over, and I'm going to put a layer of cutaway stabiliser underneath my backing fabric just to stiffen it a little bit. And also, if you've got a thin fabric, I mean, you can almost see through mine, it will help to make it more opaque. So lay your stabilizer, cutaway stabilizer down if you're going to use it, and then place your fabric on top, and then you're going to tape it in place. Making sure that you've got a matching bobbin and thread loaded into your machine for the border, you're now going to stitch round number 6, and that's going to secure your backing fabric in place. I've removed the tape from both front and back of the hoop, and we're now going to trim up the excess fabric from both. So trim around the stitch line, starting on the back. Making sure that you've got a matching bobbin and thread loaded into your machine, you're now going to stitch round number 7, and that's going to do the zigzagging of the raw edges first, and then the decorative satin stitching afterwards. Now that your tile, or bone for domino purists, is stitched, we're now going to free this from the hoop, so turn your hoop over. And we're going to cut around the edge, taking care not to cut the stitch line. We're now going to dissolve the remaining stabilizer on the edge. So take your cotton bud and some warm water, dip it in, and just run it around the edge. And that's our domino tile finished. Let me know in the comments below how you're going to do yours to make it different and unique. I hope you enjoyed this stitch along. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified of new videos as soon as they're published. Do pop along to Kreative Kiwi's Facebook group. There's lots of help, ideas and inspiration there for everybody. And thank you very much for joining me. You'll find a link to this design in the video description below, along with lots of other information such as where I get my supplies and some discount codes for you as well.